reform. We are including a path to citizenship for millions of people in this reconciliation bill.
The new House Democrats say that they want to put citizenship pathway into the reconciliation package. Mm-hmm. Is the White House supportive of that strategy?
Yep.
There needs to be a pathway for citizenship. Whether it can be in immigration remains to be seen.
There you have it. See, they're open about all this, and yet Republicans don't want to talk about it. They don't want to confront this head on. It seems to me that too many in the Republican Party are content at being the permanent minority. More lawmakers need to be exposing this reconciliation sham as a potential amnesty scam. Why are we once again appearing eager to hand Joe Biden another victory? We only need a few seats to control the House and just one more to control the Senate. Yet Republicans act like outnumbered weaklings resigned to losing. If ever there was a time to fight, this, folks, is it. So what can Senate Republicans do to push back against the Democrats' exploitation of reconciliation, that straight majority budget maneuver that would fulfill their quest for, I believe, amnesty, free tuition, and the expansion of nearly every government welfare program they want, all right? One thing they should not be doing is agreeing to a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill that even the Club for Growth warns that all it will do is, quote, enable Democrats to push their massive socialist reconciliation bill through. Yet it looks like that is exactly what's happening. Well, here to weigh in on all of this is Republican Senator from Texas, Ted Cruz is here. Senator, it's great to have you on the program.
Grant, great to be with you.
So, Senator, I guess the question my viewers are asking is, why are we even working with Democrats here?
Listen, it is crazy. We are seeing a radical leftist Democratic majority of Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi, and they are ramming through the most extreme agenda we've ever seen in Washington. They're spending trillions upon trillions upon trillions of dollars. They want to spend $7 trillion this year alone. They want to raise taxes by trillions of dollars. Every tax you can think of, they want to go up, whether it's income taxes or corporate taxes or capital gains taxes or death taxes. All of them they want to go up. And when it comes to spending trillions is what is driving inflation. We're seeing an inflation bomb growing across our economy. Americans across the economy are seeing the price of food go up, are seeing the price of gasoline go up, are seeing lumber go up, are seeing houses go up. And the Democrats are just pouring gasoline onto the fire with trillions more in spending. And I think you're exactly right. Republicans ought to say, we're not going to have any part of that. No, we're not going to participate in this spending orgy that is hurting working families across this country and that is hurting seniors across this country.
So I look at the usual suspects there in the Senate, your co-workers, Mitt Romney's, and we know who they all are. I feel like they're getting played through all of this. How can you, the Mike Lees, the Johnsons of the Senate, push back and say, no, this reconciliation, by the way, Senator, really scares me what they want to do here?
Yes. Well, look, you're exactly right. I can tell you that Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, and we are pushing back hard. Every day the Senate Republicans have lunch together, and we are having vigorous discussions, sometimes yelling matches back and forth, with most of the Republicans saying, what in the hell are you doing? Why are you participating in these radical excesses from the Democrats? There's some Republicans that just very much want to make a deal. I think that's a mistake, and I'll tell you, you've highlighted one of the really dangerous aspects is that they abuse the reconciliation rules to push through the rest of their radical agenda. Amnesty, you mentioned amnesty. I am very concerned that we're going to see Democrats try to push amnesty through reconciliation. And the way they do this is they'd add an amnesty provision to the bill, and then if all 50 Democrats voted together, they could essentially break the rules and push through an amnesty bill. And the only thing that stands in the way of that is right now there are two Democrats who are saying they won't end the filibuster, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. We need one or both of them to hold the line. I hope that they do. I pray that they do. I don't know that they will. If all the Democrats team up together, basically blowing up the reconciliation rules is a backdoor way to end the filibuster and to enable them to pass their radical agenda that includes amnesty, that includes statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico, that includes the Corrupt Politicians Act, and that includes packing the U.S. Supreme Court. All of that is what they want to do by getting rid of the filibuster.
All right, let me play a clip from you from Secretary Mayorkas. I believe this is you questioning him, and it gets to the heart of this. What are they doing with immigration question? Let's roll the clip from Secretary Mayorkas.
The decision with respect to the border wall was not a political decision, but a substantive one. That the $15 billion that was dedicated to construction of the border wall was ill-advised, and we can use the government's funds and taxpayers' funds more wisely through investment in innovation, through investment in technology. That is the greatest force multiplier.
All right, so, Senator, we got a border wall is 80 to 90% complete. They stop it. We've got technology that could have been used with cameras, sensors, you name it. They want to reduce the budget for that. It's already paid for. They're not putting it in. They want these people coming here, don't they, ultimately for this amnesty, I guess?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And what Secretary Mayorkas just said there, that is either willfully ignorant or deliberately dishonest, because what he's saying there is nonsense. I spend a lot of time down at the border representing Texas. We've got 1,200 miles of our southern border along Texas, and I spend a lot of time with Border Patrol agents, with the men and women on the front lines, and all of them tell you that physical infrastructure, that a wall plays an important part in stopping illegal immigration. And I got to tell you, this crisis at the southern border, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris created it. They created it with three decisions. First, the first week in office, they halted construction of the border wall. That was an enormous mistake. Secondly, they returned to the failed policy of catch and release, releasing the illegal immigrants who get apprehended. That was an enormous mistake. And third, the most indefensible decision, they ended the incredibly successful Remain in Mexico international agreement. That's the agreement President Trump negotiated with Mexico that said anyone who crosses illegally from another country into Mexico will remain in Mexico while their asylum case is proceeding here. And that agreement worked, Grant. We saw last year the lowest illegal immigration in 45 years. It was an incredible success. What did Joe Biden do? Ripped it to pieces his first week in office, and we are now seeing the highest rate of illegal immigration in 21 years. It is a crisis. We're on pace for 2 million people coming to this country illegally, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris caused this humanitarian and public health disaster.
Senator Ted Cruz, I appreciate you coming on the program. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Grant.
Absolutely. It's good to have you on the program, that's for sure. And did you hear, folks, what he said? Arguments in Republican Senate lunches between Ted Cruz, I assume Mike Lee and Ron Johnson, telling, and I quote Senator Ted Cruz, telling the other Republicans, feckless ones, what the hell are you doing dealing with Democrats on anything? All right, we need fighters. Mask mania, talk about persecution, all right? The House of Hypocrites, yes, we're talking about the House of Representatives again. Comply or be arrested. How Queen Pelosi's new tyrannical rule is weaponizing the Capitol Police once again. So Nancy Pelosi claims she doesn't control the Capitol Police when it comes to their failures during January 6th security breach at the Capitol, okay? She does. Apparently, she does control Capitol Police when it comes to arresting Republicans for not wearing masks. The word is now that U.S. Capitol Police officers will arrest visitors and staff members, congressmen as well, who refuse to comply with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's renewed COVID-19 mask mandate. Arrest them. But this only goes for people on the House side of the Capitol. On the Senate side, well, apparently COVID isn't a threat there. You see how silly this all is? Especially since this is the woman who arrogantly pranced around maskless inside that expensive California hair salon while everyone else was locked down, proving she doesn't care about masks. She only cares about attacking people who cherish freedom, in this case, House Republicans. Well, pushing back, Republican Thomas Massie tweeted this. "This is insane," he writes. "Might as well come into my office and arrest my entire staff. We are not wearing masks." Republican Nancy Mace is telling her staff to work from home. And Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy blew the lid on Pelosi's hypocrisy.
Twice today, I saw the speaker in a crowded room without a mask, less than 24 hours after imposing the mask mandate, which again is not based upon a study.
He witnesses her without a mask. You mean not wearing a mask like this in that hair salon? Hell, if you don't wear one when you're supposed to, when the virus was a threat, why are you going to do it at the Capitol when it's not a threat? Everyone's been vaccinated there. After all, she'll never be arrested, though, and the media will not expose her, so Queen Pelosi, I guess, has nothing to lose. Well, joining me now is Republican Congressman of Florida and member of the House Armed Services Committee. Michael Waltz is here. Congressman, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, good to be with you.
Congressman, this just seems to me, it makes no sense from science perspective. Everybody's vaccinated. It makes no sense from a liberty perspective. It makes a lot of sense if you're a Democrat from a political perspective. Am I wrong?
No, you're right, and you're absolutely right that there's no science behind this. This is, the Democrats are the party of follow the science, and you have the president's spokeswoman sputtering and stuttering, trying to point to any kind of science behind why in just 2 months they've gone from vaccines work, get your vaccine and you can go back to normal, you don't have to wear a mask, to 2 months later, now you have to. And what's so upsetting to me is that it is actually going to disincentivize people from getting the vaccine. I've gotten the vaccine on top of the natural antibodies. I think it's President Trump's crowning achievement in Operation Warp Speed. I'm convinced if Biden had been president, we still wouldn't have a vaccine. But at the end of the day, they're now going to disincentivize people from getting it. And that's how we get out of this mess. It's just stupid, ridiculous policy.
So just yesterday, the day before, we hear from the CDC, they changed their guidelines all around. They want everybody wearing masks now, even if you're vaccinated. And then the president, to show you just how confusing they make everything, listen to Confused Joe today when he starts off his news conference.
Because people got vaccinated. They got vaccinated. They don't need a mask when the vast majority of people got vaccinated.
So what is it, Congressman? You need it or you don't?
Yeah, well, let me whisper something back to the president. If you say the vaccines work, then they work, and people are trusting that they work. So why are we wearing masks again? And this is going to go right back down to the slippery slope. You already have the president of the teachers union saying, well, I don't know if we can reopen schools in the fall. You already have clampdowns in the transportation sector. You already have municipalities going back to lockdowns. Well, thank God I live, we have our great governor in the free state of Florida, where it's not going to happen down there. Our kids have been back in school since last August, 5 days a week, in person, learning and thriving. But this is just, it's beyond. Capitol Hill is frustrating. DC's a swamp, but this one wants to make your head explode.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, you've got some people like Congresswoman Mace, Massie. Hey, we're not wearing the masks. What's your plan? You going to wear it?
I'm wearing it on the House floor. I'm not going to give Nancy Pelosi $500 every time she decides she wants to hypocritically enforce rules that she doesn't on herself. But other than that, no. Look, I got the vaccine, like I said, on top of having the natural antibodies. So outside of the House floor, I'm not wearing it.
All right. Congressman Michael Waltz, always great to have you on the program. I do want to get you back to talk about this bill you have with Hunter Biden, transparency, called the painting bill. I think it's needed. We'll talk about that soon. I promise you. I'm sorry I didn't get to it today, but thank you, Congressman.
All right. See you soon.
You know, we've been staying on top of the Hunter Biden story. He's got a bill here that's going to mandate that the DOJ start looking into all of this stuff. What's going on with these paintings? It's a good bill. But, you know, meanwhile, they're dealing with this whole mask issue. We got real stuff to take care of in the United States, not masks. Joe Biden tells us so many lies, he forgets what the truth is. Joe's latest tall tale, that's next.
Hey y'all, welcome to Diamond and Silk Crystal Clear. We your host Diamond and Silk all silk.
Diamond, oh diamond.
Okay, so a lot of stuff has jumped off this week. You know, I really cannot believe, Silk, that we are now, to me, in my humble opinion, living in a communist country.
Oh, yeah.
Where everything is so one-sided and it's almost like it's backwards.
Yeah.
You know, so we were able to review the commission hearing that happened the other day about what happened with January the 6th. And the first thing that came to my mind when I started looking at it was, who wrote the script?
Come on.
Okay. Yeah. Because in my humble opinion, everything seems scripted.
Everything seemed very, very scripted. And when I think about it, Diamond, you know, for all of my police officers out there, thank you for protecting and serving. But for those four officers that were sitting up there, they seemed like drama queen. They seemed very theatrical, and they all sniffed on cue as if they was looking for somebody to bring them a teddy bear or a hug.
Well, watching these men cry, they all look like they had been emasculated.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
I agree.
Okay?
I agree.
And they don't, you know, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. These men right here, they don't need to be protecting nobody.
Yeah, how you
I felt like I need to jump into action to coddle somebody.
That's right. Especially if I call them for them to come to my rescue or something.
Right.
I don't need them to be crying in the middle of rescuing me.
And can I say this? I understand that these men had a hard time on January the 6th. But you know, the American people also had a hard time during the summer of 2020. And it was over 200 some days.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see exactly.
So it can't be one-sided. You got to look at all sides here.
That's right.
But this looked like another production from Queen Nancy Pelosi and her antics, you all.
That's right.
And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at this.
We did not receive timely reinforcement and support we needed. In contrast, during the Black Lives Matter protests last year, U.S. Capitol Police had all the support we needed and more. Why the different response?
Okay, so here's what my deal is. You know, I always have a question.
Okay, we have
questions. I always have a question.
Yeah.
Why wasn't the U.S. Capitol fully staffed with police when you know thousands upon thousands of people were going to be up there in the D.C. area?
That's right.
Who responsibility was it to staff them, and why wasn't they staffed?
Why wasn't there? Well, that's right. That's right. And also, you know, this gentleman mentioned about the Black Lives Matter protests and how they had what they needed, the support that they needed and everything. But you got to remember, President Trump made sure that you had what you needed.
Right.
But see, as for January the 6th, Nancy Pelosi said no to a lot of the stuff that you all needed. See?
Oh, Queen Nancy.
That's right.
Yeah, and her antics.
That's right.
Oh, but that's not all, you all.
That's not all.
Let's take a look at this.
The last thing I remember hearing over the air before departing for the Capitol grounds was confirmation that our explosive ordnance disposal team had discovered a device. Given which unit was being associated with the device, I immediately realized MPD had discovered a bomb of some type near the Capitol. This thought was never far from my mind for the rest of the day.
Okay, now, Silk, Silk.
Diamond.
Okay, now, if a bomb was discovered at the Capitol, then why did Congress members go back inside of the Capitol to certify an election?
Come on.
You would have thought that all of that they would have taken, and nobody wouldn't have been able to be at that Capitol.
They would have evacuated the entire area. Okay? Where was the bomb squad? Was the bomb squad there? I mean, you know, some stuff is just not adding up.
It's not.
And it's not making any sense.
Right, it's not. Oh, but that's not all.
That's not all.
Take a look at this.
Around this time, one of the terrorists who had scaled the scaffolding that adorned the Capitol at the time threw something heavy down at me and struck me in the head disorienting me. I suspect this resulted in the likely concussion I dealt with in the weeks after.
Now, I don't understand how you can refer to an American or Americans as terrorists. The ones that was up there on January the 6th.
Right.
But refer to the ones that did the Summer of Love, what they call the looting and the rioting, refer to them as protesters.
That's right. That's right.
I really don't
and
get that.
nobody's been charged as an insurrectionist or as a terrorist.
But I want to know, did the people scaling the walls, did they get arrested, or did they just point out people?
That's right.
To say, okay, we're gonna arrest this person, and this person, all they was doing was holding a cell phone.
And keep in mind that it takes skills to scale a wall.
So it sounds like this was some professionalism going on up through here.
And see, these people, I'm listening to them talk. These officers talk, and they're making all of these statements without factual evidence. I want to know, where are the cameras and the evidence based off of what they're saying? Because they're just making a lot of statements, but I don't see any evidence.
Okay, well, that ain't all. Take a look at this, y'all.
Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of my time to ask for a moment of silence for my fallen colleague, Officer Brian Sicknick, who died from injuries he sustained in the line of duty defending the capital of our beloved democracy.
You know what, Silk? Okay, first of all, when you start off with a lie, I can't believe nothing else you have to say.
Nothing else.
Because an officer did not get killed during January the 6th. Ashley Babbitt was the one that got killed.
That's right. That's right. And according to the medical examiner, Mr. Brian Sicknick suffered 2 strokes, and his death was from natural causes. Okay, this happened from natural causes. Okay, so this gentleman here basically just lied.
Wow.
Okay,
I wonder, was he under oath? But that ain't all, y'all.
That's not all.
Take a look at this.
That prompted a torrent of racial epithets. One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? This voted for Joe Biden." Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Boo!"
Okay, wait a minute. I feel like this man is Jesse Smolletting us.
That's exactly what
Where's the recording of this?
Where?
Because this is hard for me to believe. That's why you can't start your testimony off with a lie.
That's right.
And think I'm going to believe everything that you say.
Now, as a black man, let me tell you something.
Come on.
You have a lot of black people that get really upset when they're called the N-word, okay? And if he's in authority, I want to know, why didn't he arrest anybody? And if these people was trespassing on restricted area, why didn't anybody get apprehended or arrested?
Well, I don't know, but you know what, Silk?
Yeah.
I am so getting tired of the left.
Yeah.
Okay? And their antics. They're wasting our money on this commission. Well, if you want to start a commission, when are y'all going to start a commission on the Russia collusion witch hunt? Remember that? When are y'all going to start a commission on Nancy Pelosi and how she tried to stage a coup, calling General Milling, telling him to block President Trump for using the nuclear code?
When?
Where's the commission about that?
That's right.
When are you all going to call a commission on what happened in the summer of 2020?
When?
When they going to do that? When you going to start a commission on looking into these members of Congress and how they go in poor and now they all filthy rich? When you going to start a commission on Jim Crow, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and to their ties with China? When are you all going to start a commission about what's happening right now and how Americans are being harmed with this virus?
That's right.
Start a commission on that. You want to waste taxpayer dollars? How about you waste it on something that's going to benefit us, the American people?
That's right.
We'll be right back with more Diamond and Silk Crystal.
And we are back. Make sure to check out the Newsmax Daily podcast. It is an audio podcast featuring me. It's 5 days a week, and it's very portable, and it's free. All you got to do is go to Apple Podcasts and download the Newsmax Daily with Rob Carson. I'd appreciate it. You may recall our president just a couple months ago told most Americans they wouldn't have to wear masks anymore if they got the shot.
And because of the extraordinary progress we've made in fighting this virus, and the progress our scientists have made in learning about how it gets transmitted, Earlier today, the CDC made an important announcement. Starting today, if you're fully
And maybe only today, because they might change their minds.
vaccinated and you're outdoors, you need, and not in a big crowd, you no
And with your hat on backwards.
longer need to wear a mask.
And wearing flip-flops.
I want to be absolutely clear. If you're in a crowd,
You ever notice when he says he wants to be absolutely clear that things aren't very clear?
like a stadium or at a conference or a concert,
Or with your hat on backwards.
you still need to wear a mask, even if you're outside.
Well, that certainly was clear. Now the CDC says in high infection areas, even vaccinated people need to mask up indoors. Are you guys ready for some hot sake? Here's Jen Psaki trying to explain her way out of this change in policy.
Today, they're changing their guidance. They're changing their advice to the American public, their public health advice, based on evolving data and an evolving historic guidance. That virus. That's exactly what they should be doing.
Is your message to Americans who are feeling whiplash right now? Why should they trust the same group of
Put on a neck brace and soldier on.
health officials who just 2 months ago told them they don't have to wear a mask anymore inside?
Because our goal is to save their lives, and our responsibility and the responsibility of public health officials.
Here's Peter Doocy confronting Jen Psaki on why the White House says this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. So why do vaccinated people need to wear masks?
And if it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated still, then why do vaccinated people need to put the masks back on?
Well, Peter, first of all, I would say again, just to go back to this chart, which I will handily point to again.
Hello, that's my chart. Did you not see the chart? It explains everything.
If you were vaccinated, it can save your life. And I think the clear data shows
Well, I thought the vaccination was supposed to save my life.
that this pandemic is killing, is hospitalizing, is making people very sick.
Your vaccines are no good here.
Who are not vaccinated. That still continues to be the case, regardless of what the mask guidance looks like.
The vaccines work, which this sign says that they do. Then why do people who have had the vaccine need to now wear masks?
Yeah, see, he just asked that question.
The same as people
Did you not see the chart?
who have not had it.
Because the public health leaders in our administration
And they're good, and your question's bad.
have made the determination based on data that is a way to make sure
Today's data, not yesterday's.
they're protected, their loved ones are protected, and that's an extra step given the transmissibility of the virus.
Okay, despite a year and a half of directives, vaccines, and waffling, Jen Psaki says we're headed in the wrong direction.
On COVID, Dr. Fauci says we're going in the wrong direction. Whose fault is that?
Well, I would say first what he was referring to is the fact that because there is still a large population of people in this country who are unvaccinated, and we have the most transmissible variant that we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic, that more people are getting sick with COVID. And those numbers are not moving in the right direction. I think that's accurate, and you can see it by data.
And your kids will have to wear masks again this fall, even though their risks are minimal. Watch Jen Psaki look down her nose at states who say no to mask mandates in schools.
The CDC is also going to recommend that children in schools all wear a mask, that everyone in schools wear a mask regardless of vaccination status. But there are at least 8 states that actually prohibit their districts from requiring a mask in schools. So what are parents who have children in those schools, in those states, supposed to do?
I believe that Joe Biden called those people Neanderthals a few months back.
Well, look, Caitlin, I'm happy not to live in a state where that is the guidance.
And I'm sure the people in those states are happy you don't live there too.
And this is new guidance that is being issued by the CDC today. I don't know how it will influence local elected officials in these states, but I certainly hope for the health and well-being of the next generation that they take a close look at the guidance.
Coming